Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the Diggro DB-07. This is an ultra low-cost fitness tracker that retails for just $20. You can get it in a number of different colors. It also has a color display, which can show notifications as well as your heart rate information, sleep tracking, as well as steps and calories burned. So for this really low price tag, you have a pretty simple box. We have just a pretty generic-looking packaging with some basic functions printed on the back, and we also have the user manual, which is documented in full color on the inside, which includes a QR code that you can scan to download the app for iOS or Android. And finally, we have just the band itself, which, as you can see, we've popped out both of the bands or straps, which means that they are completely interchangeable if you want to swap it out for a different color or accessory in the future. It's a pretty different design from other bands we've seen, which the center part actually fits into a rubber seal, but on here it's just a fitting directly into the bands like so, but it stays in place pretty well even if you're doing vigorous exercising in our testing so far. This is also where one of the USB charging parts are located, so you need to unplug one of the bands in order to plug it to a computer or to a USB socket for charging it up about once every week. And overall battery life is decent. It's about average for a fitness tracker. It doesn't use a contact point on the back. It doesn't use wireless charging, kind of expected at such a low price point, but something I really wanted to quickly point out. So on first impressions, again, the display actually seems to be quite bright. You can see its color. It's a simple LCD panel, but the contrast actually is quite rich, so it may seem closer to something like AMOLED, but it's really just an LCD, but it remains pretty easy to see even outdoors. The screen itself isn't actually curved, it's just the plastic that they're using, and there's one simple contact point on the bottom here that you can also use to tap to navigate the interface. The entire display itself isn't touch sensitive like some of its competitors that we've seen on the market. Before we dive too deep into the interface and performance, a very quick size comparison. Here's the iOneFit i6HRC, which is one of its closest competitors. It sells for about $10 more, and this is the i6 color on the left here. They do look very similar, but the difference is the entire thing is touch sensitive. We have a larger touch panel as opposed to only one touch point on the bottom, but the fonts are very similar as well. And again, this one sells for about $30, and it fits directly into the band as opposed to having the sides snap out physically, like on the Diggro that we have here today. And finally, here is a Amazfit bip, which you can see here is more of a smartwatch form factor, but you get a better idea of what the overall dimensions are like. Alright, so taking a closer look at the menu interface of the watch first, one of the most interesting things about it is you can actually change the watch face without even using the app. So this is the default one that it comes with. It shows the time and date as well as the battery status and Bluetooth connection status all in color. I can also long hold from this main page here for a few seconds to change it to a next visualization. And I can long hold from this once more to change it again. In this one, we have kind of counting steps continuously, as well as showing you a visualization once you reach your goal. For instance, 10,000 steps, it's going to complete the circle to tell you that you've met your goal for the day. And I can tap and hold once more to go back into the first watch face. So that's kind of neat. Tapping it once, it tells me number of steps I've walked. Tapping on it again shows me distance in terms of kilometers, once more for calories burned, and once more for the training mode. Another special feature on this particular watch. So I can long hold to more closely monitor specific sports activities. For instance, walking, or I can tap once for running, once more for cycling, and then once more for hiking, and that's basically it. So under a specific training mode, what you're able to do is it will more precisely track your steps as well as give you a continuous reading of your heart rate information, and the seconds will go up underneath here. Next feature here is just a heart rate, and you can see it has an optical sensor on the back, and it takes about 20 seconds to get a reading. It also tells you a very basic blood pressure measurement, but just like on past trackers, it's basically an estimation. It's using an algorithm and using the optical heart rate sensor to first detect your heart rate and then convert that using a standardized algorithm. It's not completely accurate, definitely not a medical grade device, but you get a rough idea of what it's going to be like. The next feature, which says SpO2, measures the blood oxygen level in your body. So this is actually another unique feature. Again, using the optical sensor to give you an estimation, a feature that we don't tend to see in a lot of budget fitness trackers. So this, in addition to the blood pressure, are definitely unique elements of a sub $20 fitness tracker. Next here we see messages. So if you have any Twitter, Facebook, or just SMS messages that pop in from your phone when you're connected to the app, it will actually populate on this display, although certain lines will be cut out since the display is still a little bit small, but you can tap on it to get a quick reading. Under More, you can actually access some additional features like a stopwatch. I can tap once more to find my phone, so the phone will start to vibrate once it's connected using Bluetooth, and then once more to take a look at the Bluetooth connection status, and once more to power it off. So going over to the app, the watch binds to something called JYou, which you can find in the Play Store as well as in the iOS Store, and it works for all of Digro's smartwatches and trackers. So it supports many devices. You can go into settings of the app, and then you tap on binding, and you can tap on search to select the corresponding watch to connect to. And in this case, it's called the Y2/1AF1. And once it's connected, it's automatically going to sync, tell us our battery status on the watch itself, which right now is full, as well as push over the number of steps that we've walked in the day, in addition to the time and date information will be synced to the watch. From here, I can also take a quick look at other settings, such as changing the step for my goal for each day, as well as take a look at things like sedentary reminder, which means that because there's an accelerometer in here, if you've been sitting down in one position for more than 30 minutes, it's going to vibrate and remind you to get up and actually move. There's also the ability to use it as kind of a selfie camera, and you can see that it pops into the selfie view, and I can tap on the watch once to actually take an image, as you can see here. So it's nice to use if you don't have an actual selfie remote and you're trying to capture a lot of people in one shot. You can also set an alarm for you to wake up in the morning. And once you have Bluetooth turned on to your phone, it will automatically connect and sync information, and it can remember data up to, I believe, 5 days before it loses the information before. So as long as you sync it once about every week, it should be fine. So in the main status screen, that's where we have a very quick panel that tells us the day of the week, as well as number of steps that we've walked today. And if this ring turns complete, that means we've reached our goal for the day. Under the blood pressure tab, I can also tap on this to give a quick reading of what my fatigue level is like, as well as the blood oxygen level, blood pressure, and heart rate, since it's basically using the optical sensor to give you estimations of all of these different data points, including fatigue, blood oxygen, blood pressure, so on and so forth. So right now, for instance, the heart rate is 85 beats per minute, and this is a live reading. Same thing goes with calories burned. It actually gives you a small key that tells you, how much you've consumed, and if it's too low, if it's too high, it'll give you a slight key as well. It's not very intelligent in the sense that it's going to change the key according to your body and your patterns, but it'll give you a general one to follow. So taking a look at sport, this is also where we can take a look at our entire heart rate continuous graph. So if I tap on this, for instance, it's going to show you again where it started and where our current heart rate is, our average as well, based on multiple readings in different points of time. Other quick observations would be that the tracker is very lightweight, and because the band is actually pretty durable and thick, it's actually quite comfortable for wearing this, and you can even get away with wearing it and not realizing that it's there because it is so lightweight and very comfortable. The only downside is that the strap here seems to not be very deep as far as the metal points, so sometimes it struggles with getting through 2 layers of the rubber, and it may occasionally pop open, which is definitely not what you would want if you're outside and exercising and for the band to fall out. But that's something to be wary of. You can learn more details in the links down below, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been our hands-on review of the Diggro Smart Bracelet / Fitness Tracking Band.